Hello friends, this is Harvey Mandan. Welcome to the No-Bull review of the HTC One X. Let's have a look at all the good and all the bad of this new flagship HTC phone. Firstly, I really like the design here. HTC always builds solid phones and this is no exception. Materials really solid, good quality. But you can notice here already signs of wear on the back, which is a bit disappointing because obviously this phone is fairly new and already it's being scuffed. The design is very simple, a very big screen using maximum space. We see at the bottom and at the top very little space wasted, and that's what I really like on a phone. Mostly screen without anything else. I will say the power key at the top here is a poor design. We can see it's facing at an angle away from the back, so that means when you're pressing that at the top you have to put your finger at the front to press it, and it's very difficult to press the power key and at the same time get your thumb down to the lock at the bottom. So unless you have hands the size of a basketball player, you're going to find that a little uncomfortable, I think, to operate. But the lock screen itself is really a nice piece of design from HTC. It's very smooth working, very functional. It's just I wish they had put the power key at the side like Samsung phones. And also, of course, you have the volume button here, which you tend to press a lot while you're trying to press the power key at the top. Another design feature which is not so great is the speaker position here. The speaker itself is good, good quality, and average of volume, I would say, but when it's on the desk it does distort. There is distortion there when it's lying flat on the desk, so not the best position for the speaker. The screen, as I mentioned, fills most of the front of the phone. It's 4.7 inch. It's called a Super IPS LCD 2, which in other words means it's a really nice screen. Lovely colours, it's very crisp, it's very easy to read text. The whites are very white. The blacks are a bit grey compared to a Super AMOLED phone, but really you don't notice it unless you have them next to each other. Pixel density is 312 per inch, which is quite high, and that's the most impressive thing about this phone for me, I think, is the actual screen. Really a pleasure to look at. Let's have a look at some of the storage information here. We go into the settings and have a look at storage. We find a total available space for the user is about 26 gigabytes. So we've got the phone storage down here and we've got space for installing apps here, just about 2 gigabytes. One negative thing about this phone is you can't open the back to access the battery, and there's no space for a micro SD card. This little slot here is actually for your micro SIM, not an SD. Most people agree that the Sense UI from HTC, which this is running Sense 4, is the best manufacturer user interface, and I would agree with that. It's much better than TouchWiz, much better than MotoBlur. The best thing on this is the design of the widgets. Fantastic widgets. We've got really nice animations on all of these widgets here. See, turning them on and off. Really beautiful animations. The weather widgets, well, you just can't beat something like this. It's really spectacular. This updates. So the animations are really beautiful in every area of the interface, even something as simple as this. See, the animations are really nicely done. Sometimes the UI stutters a bit. There's a tiny bit of lag entering now and then, I think maybe from how complex the widgets are, but nothing too noticeable. It shouldn't be, as this is a quad-core 1.5 GHz phone, so really there should not be any lag there at all. Another thing I really like about the interface here is you can edit in all the stock apps these tabs at the bottom. So we go into the menu, edit tabs, and here we can drag and drop tab into the bottom, and there we have our tab that we've just put in there. There's good integration between all the stock apps. So for example, you've got the calendar app, and that integrates very nicely with this note widget, which is pretty cool, as I've said there. Another nice feature which comes on this phone is the built-in call blocker. You have here blocked callers you can add to the list. The GPS function on this HTC One X seems to work very nicely indeed. Got a very quick lock, accurate to 10 meters with Google Maps, so no complaints there. A couple of things annoying with the stock apps we can find in the browser and the keyboard, which could be better, but I won't go into those because those are things which can easily be changed, and you can use any browser and keyboard on the market. Also, there is no dedicated settings key as you would have, for example, here on the Samsung. You have the 3 keys, but one of them is not the settings. The settings is up here or accessed from the widget there. In my opinion, not a good solution, especially as when you use apps such as Tapatalk, for example. You have here at the bottom a settings soft key there, because there is no capacitive key, so it takes up extra screen space, which is not necessary really. Instead of the settings key, you have this dedicated task switcher, which I'm sure some people think is good. Personally, I don't think it's necessary. The camera on this phone is an 8 megapixel rear camera, 1.3 megapixel front facing camera. The best thing about this camera is the speed of operation. It's very quick to load and it's very quick to take shots. The interface is not the best, I think, because all of the options for still camera and video camera are all together. A bit messy in my opinion. There are some nice effects, of course, and it has this novel way of taking pictures. You can take directly a still shot or directly a video without switching. If you're interested in more detail of Sense 4, please see my video Sense 4 versus Cyanogen Mod 9. In conclusion, I have mixed feelings about this HTC One X. The design and the screen are fantastic, but is it really a comfortable phone to use? For me, I would have to say not really. It has here some sharp edges which make it a little uncomfortable to hold. As I mentioned, the power key is not well placed, so daily use I would find it a little uncomfortable, I think, to use this phone. Fondle factor, well, very high because of the materials are really nice. It's very nice to hold in your hand, in your pocket, so high fondle factor, 8 out of 10.